Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meet the Messenger. I'm back after my Vegas excursion last week and my NAB convention. Aubrey did a great job without me, but this week you get both of us. Aubrey's here with me. Hi, Aubrey.
Hi, Baptiste. I'm so happy you're back, and I'm
Yeah, this
excited for this episode. It's gonna be really fun.
this is our first episode co-hosting, so we're gonna talk
Yeah.
over each other. That's gonna be fun. Joining us today is the latest addition to the Messenger, the latest hire at the Messenger, our new reporter, Mike Kemper. Hi, Mike.
Hello. How's it going?
Thank Good. How are you?
Good.
We've seen each other this morning before recording, but we have to pretend we have not. So thank you so much for being on Meet the Messenger. So like I said, you're the new reporter, latest hire at the Messenger. Can you tell us what made you want to join our little group?
Yeah. So it has to do with being in the journalism class with Professor Humphrey. So, like the very first day, so I signed up for the class kind of on a whim. I was in a creative writing class and I wanted to expound on writing. I think in journalism, I would get to write. So I just wanted to write. So I took the journalism class, and the very first day of class, it kind of hit me. It was like, wow, this is really interesting. This is really something I want to do. So I think it was that very first day that I said something to Professor Humphrey about joining the messenger staff. So he got me into contact with you guys. Got I did a interview with Aubrey and started out as a freelance, just doing like a story every week, and then the position came available to be on the staff, and I jumped at it, and I'm not looking back.
Yeah. And you had no like journalism experience before that, before joining like getting the class and then joining the Messenger?
None, zero, zip. I
Yeah.
barely even read news stories. I read mainly like fiction books and stuff like that. But the type of writing was basically, it fits right into kind of how I write. I spent 14 years in the army, and even on emails and stuff like that, it's like short and to the point. So it's the way kind of the journalism or journalistic style was, and I liked it.
Mhm. You want to talk a little bit about I was going to mention it, your background before coming to JCCC, because I know you've done many
Oh,
things
yeah,
before.
this is probably, we would call this I don't know, maybe a third career. So I, spent 14 years in the Army, did two separate deployments, one to Iraq, one to Afghanistan, spent a majority of my time in the 82nd Airborne Division, got to jump out of airplanes, do all that fun stuff. Then after that, I went into real estate, where I was a real estate agent for 6 years. I also went into mortgage business. Eventually, kind of COVID hit and kind of derailed that career. And I hadn't done anything for like a year. So I was like, well, I better do something. So I decided to take a class, creative writing class at JCC, and took the journalism class. So basically, it's a third career. So kind of after taking the journalism class, I was like, okay, this is what I need to do.
Mhm.
And so that's what I'm going for.
Yeah. Any reason for the creative writing class, choosing that one as your class?
Well, they say if you failed at everything else in life, go ahead and be a writer. So that was kind of my mindset right there. But I trust me, I don't think I'm a failure. I just thought it was a funny little quip. So I don't know. I liked the writing, and it's kind of going well with the journalism, just because it just forces you to write.
Yeah. You wanted to say something, Aubrey?
Well, I was just gonna take it from there and ask you kind of about what I've noticed are your favorite types of articles to write. If you viewers don't read our website, first of all, you should. But also we have a series called Faculty Friday, as well as a series called Meet a Cavalier Monday. And Mike, I know you really like writing those. I know when I interviewed you for the on staff position, you said you really wanted to continue writing those features. So is there a particular reason that you really enjoy writing those?
Yeah, so what I found from my, like, say, previous articles that I've done, so maybe I did an article on the fitness center, I did the article on the VA or the veterans office, and then just some other articles. I found myself really like liking talking to the individual person and getting to know them, but then having to write about um the actual event or whatever was going on, but I wanted to get to know them better. So when I did my first Faculty Friday, I did it on Nate Herron, and I really enjoyed it. I just enjoyed talking about one person, and I enjoyed talking to that one person about their life, their career, what they did, what they enjoyed um, sharing with students, and then basically how they taught students to just be better people. And so I
Mhm.
really enjoyed that aspect of the writing. So that's why I really enjoy the Faculty Fridays.
When
I
we
love
have
it.
our Sorry, when we have our Monday meetings, usually it's like, okay, who wants these stories? And Mike said, okay, what do I get for Faculty Friday this week? So I just
Yeah.
love that.
He expects it
Yeah.
to be handed to him, which I
Yeah,
love because you're
yeah.
great at it. It's perfect.
That's what we intended at first. We said, is there someone that we want to write that every week? And we had no one that wanted to do that.
Hmm.
So Mike is
Yeah. I
our
mean, I think
partner.
it's, I mean, honestly, I've enjoyed getting to know, like, I've done the Faculty Friday on Nate Herron. I did Lauren Phillips, who's the artist and taught for the graphic design. I just like getting to know different departments of JCCC.
Mhm.
And it's kind of cool talking to the professors and getting to know those different departments and getting to know, um, what they do and what they teach.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's true, because it's such a big school. Like, I feel like I always forget how many different departments and just like subjects, I guess, there are like within JCCC. So that is really cool that you get to interview a bunch of different professors. And I think it's awesome that we get to highlight so many different um, I don't know, individualistic things at JCCC. So we appreciate all your work, Mike. It's been great. But I also want to talk to you about one of your more recent stories, the AI town hall story. Will you tell the listeners a little bit about kind of what that story was about and then the process of how you wrote it or who you interviewed?
Yeah, so that story was about, so the Johnson County Community College wanted to come up with an AI task force to try to get a handle on AI and how it was impacting education. So they formed an AI task force, and then this AI task force got together and they came up with basically the rules that JCCC will follow for AI. And then they came out with that list. Now, I will tell you, I don't think they've come out and posted that guidance yet. It's still listed on our info hub. So I don't think all the students have all the information on it, but I did, kind of encapsulate it in the story that I wrote. And so basically, it just talked about how the teachers can use AI to, I mean, basically make sure that they don't disclose student information. And then they came out with the guidance for the students. Basically, students should not be using AI to, generative AI to generate stories. They need to come up and they need to come up with ideas on their own. They need to think of, like, if you have to write a paper, you have to think of the ideas and things that you want to talk about on your own and not use AI.
Yeah.
And then they listed the four, there's basically four AI, I can't think of the word, but things, AI platforms that are allowed to be used here at JCCC. Basically, only two of them are. One of them is on a Zoom, I guess, to encapsulate Zoom, so you can see what was talked about, and then
Like
the other one was,
transcription, kind of.
yeah, kind of the
Yeah.
transcription part of it. But then they have Copilot, Microsoft Copilot and Google Gemini are the only
Mhm.
two that they technically allow faculty and staff to use.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, I'm not wrong. This was kind of your more newsy kind of story that you've had so far. So how did you? And I'm sorry, Aubrey, if you were going to ask the question, it just came to my mind.
It's
How did
okay.
you approach writing that one compared to the features that you were writing before? Because it's two kind of different type of stories. That makes
No,
sense.
I tried to encapsulate the best that I could about the AI town hall. I mean, I had 45 minutes of recording, and so I tried to just go through and mainly talk about what they discussed as far as the main information that was put out at first. There was a lot of question and answer.
Hmm.
I was able to ask a question. I mean, I'm not going to say I was able to. I'm just going to say I did ask a
Hmm.
question. My question was, how, what is the stipulation for professors using AI? And I'm not going to say I got a great answer. So I don't think it's something that they necessarily talked about because they just wanted to focus on the students. So
Yeah.
that was my main thing. Like, if the students aren't allowed to use it, are the professors allowed to use it?
Hmm.
But they went on to say that professors are allowed to use it, kind of allowing the students to use, like, they're allowed, like, each classroom and each professor is able to use AI at their own discretion. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
if they want their class to use AI, um, they can. They just have to put the information out to the classroom and say, hey, you can use AI for this. And as long as they provide clear guidance, they can use it.
Hmm.
That's really interesting, actually, because I feel like that is like a hot topic, definitely, throughout, I mean, society right now, but also just like in college. Um, but I would definitely say that a lot of students have that argument, like, well, if I can't use AI, then why is my professor able to use it or whatever? Not saying all professors use it, but that is really interesting that you were able to ask that question. Doing
Yeah.
some boots on the ground journalism there, I see. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And then my next story, I think it'll come out next year at the beginning of the semester. It's going to be basically about that question that I asked. So I'm
Hmm.
building a story right now, and I'm in the process of interviewing people. I'm actually interviewing the AI task force leader tomorrow, and going to discuss basically what the AI task force came up with. But I'll come out with a story at the beginning of next semester about more in depth about what was discussed and the use of AI for the professors.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Aubrey and I will just be able to read it. We won't be able to get it first and send it back.
I
That's
know.
right.
It's out of our hands. It'll
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
great. I'm excited.
That's how it was basically my lead in the story of how she was. So, Professor told me the story about her not even showing up for the first day of class, but showing up an hour late and just running
Hmm.
in without anything, just knowing that she had a notification on her phone. And I had that as my lead, that, she came into class and totally forgot about class, didn't even know she had class that day. So that was a good story. I like
Yeah,
that one.
it's yeah. Do you have any fun, interesting things that you learned from people? That makes zero sense. Do you have any like fun stories that you learned from anyone? Especially in like the Faculty Friday or the Meet a Cab Monday. I mean, I can just think of so many different like Leaf.
Professor Vanderham or Dr. Vanderham was a good one because I had no idea. So when I was given that story, it said mythology teacher. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking I'm going to talk to a mythology teacher. Well, anyways, when I talked to him and I went all the way back to basically when he was a kid and his family was, they had a band. And so, it all started with like his grandfather playing an instrument and he wanted to learn how to play guitar. So he ended up getting a bachelor's degree in like guitar, a master's degree in guitar, and then went on and got a PhD in the same thing. But then he ended up teaching humanities
Hmm.
straight out of college or straight after getting his PhD because he just when he was in his doctoral classes, he just had all these other interests that just kept coming up and he kept reading about it. And as he read more about it, he got more interested in it. And then he taught humanities. And so he didn't even teach his first like music class here at Johnson County Community College until last year. And I think he's been here 5 years.
Mhm.
So he just went from teaching humanities. He loved the mythology aspect of it. And that's all he's been teaching here. So that was an interesting story because he basically wanted to be in a band, play the guitar, and then ended up being a doctor and a professor teaching about humanities and mythology. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you're so interested in the human aspect of the stories and talking with people and discovering their stories. And you're so good at it. Is there is that giving you like ideas for the future of what you might do after you graduate from JCCC?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm taking something next semester and it's basically going to be about freelance journalism.
Hmm.
So it's just going to be about, you know, pitching stories and writing stories so that I can work freelance. I don't know if I want to necessarily like work and write 2 stories a week. Um, I'm doing it now because it just has to be done. And
You
from
don't have a
my
choice.
Yeah, I don't have a choice. So I'm going to do 2 stories a week, period. But, later on, I want to do more feature stories, more, longer stories, but just have, interesting topics and talk about interesting people doing interesting things and, kind of pitch those stories to local papers, local magazines, and then maybe, more national stuff later after I get better. But I mean, as it stands now, I just want to write.
Hmm.
I want to hone my craft. I want to get better. I'm just starting out. So, and the only way to do that is to do the work and get it
Yeah.
done and write and then get critiqued and, maybe fail a little bit and then get right back on it and do it again.
Yeah. And even if you're just starting out, I think you've been at the Messenger like what, 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And you're
Cause I
already
started
very,
at the I started at the beginning of the semester
hmm,
and, maybe even like, I
yeah, a
don't
little
think I did my
later.
first,
Yeah.
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 Yep. And,
And
yeah,
it's
so my
very,
goal is to do it for the next year at least, right next semester and then the following semester, and then we'll see what happens after that.
yeah, because I have an issue with Mike. I'm supposed to come up with the headlines, but he write headlines that are so good that I have to change to use them.
I know, don't say that out loud because Professor Humphrey will probably yell at me for writing a headline because he says that's not my job or
I don't think,
that's not the reporter's job.
no, I don't think you will. Aubrey, did you have anything other that you wanted to ask?
No, I mean, I just love hearing about your future plans and everything. I mean, I sound like a proud mom, but I remember like interviewing you at first, and I expected like, I'm not gonna lie, like chaos. You were like, I'd never written like journalistically before, and I was like, oh, this will be really interesting. Because sometimes we have people say that, and then it's, hard to teach them to write in the journalistic style. But I've been extremely impressed with how much you've learned and just how good of a writer you are. So we are very grateful to have you here at the Messenger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate. I mean, I kind of had a head start because I do have. I mean, I know the next step for most people in journalism class is to go to journalism school, go to like a 4-year university. But I kind of have a head start on everybody because I already have a bachelor's degree and I
Mhm.
also have a master's degree in business. So that probably helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of already have some of those skills. So just that's why I just want to be a part of the paper and just write
Hmm.
stories because that's the only way you're going to get better, in my opinion, is just
Mhm.
to do the
Yeah.
work. And so like anybody who thinks that, they're just going to show up and kind of go, I was going to say something else. I won't say that. But I think in order to accomplish your goals and do what you want to do, you have to put in the work to do it. And
Hmm.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I think this is
Well,
such a perfect sentence to end on.
I was gonna the same thing. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I love it.
Yeah, we should start motivation whatever day it is with Mike on like
A
Instagram or
Monday,
something.
it'd have to be a Monday, right? Because
Motivation
Mike
Yeah,
Monday, yeah.
Monday,
motivation.
Motivation Mike Monday.
Yeah, let's do Mike Mondays because he does like Meet the Cavalier Monday, Motivation Monday. Let's just do Mike Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
We should
down.
pitch
Let's
that
do
for
it.
next year. Sammy, if you're watching this, you have to do Mike Mondays next year. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for joining us today and for you guys for listening and watching us. We probably only have one more episode left, I would say. Recording next week is our like final. Well, we could do two, I guess, because we're still publishing during finals week. So we'll see. Keep in
We'll
mind one
figure
or
it
two
out.
episodes for us, and then we'll say goodbye. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.